Hey everyone, it's me, Whimsy. I hope you enjoy this quick video. It's put together by me and my close friend Chuck Dransfield, and we're talking about the subject of the death of Hollywood. This is something that's come up in the past where we're talking about how people are moving away from the Hollywood model of creating art more towards other venues like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. About the writers' strike, we talk a little bit about that, about the harassment and abuse that's been taking place in Hollywood. Unfortunately, the first part of this video got cut off by Zoom, so you're seeing it right in the middle. But basically, this is a continuation of our conversation about some of the problems that people in the entertainment industry experienced when they were in Hollywood and why we believe that Hollywood is dying as the epicenter of film arts here in the United States. And if there is anything that Hollywood can do to turn it around. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Chuck Dransfield, and please let us know what you think. Thanks. You had a friend. Please go again. Tell the story.
Okay, I have a friend who's about to retire from Disney, and he's been telling me that they've been doing serious budget cuts and layoffs. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs simply because the movie industry is in trouble right now. The films are not doing well in the theaters at the moment. It's heading in the direction of streaming. And I think that's also what's behind the strikes, the writer's strike, the potential actor strike. Streaming needs to be addressed. Proper residuals, people being paid
I
decently.
I can only tell you as somebody that studied acting and I worked as an extra for over a year, learning the ropes of what it is to be an actor. Took acting courses, etc. Got into the union, etc. I found it so abusive. I couldn't be an actor in that town. I mean, the only way I think an actor can be an actor and keep their mental health is you have to produce your own stuff in streaming. It's not that people wanted to leave Hollywood. I think a lot of people don't know I started off as an actor and a model before I went to medical school. This is before I even went to medical school.
But it's all
I,
verging.
I mean,
All of these elements have come together now.
the point is that I couldn't do it in LA. I couldn't
Yeah,
do my work there. I couldn't get any work done as an actor.
it's a
Don't you
very
think that?
tough industry. I haven't worked in years myself.
Well, you've worked in streaming like me. You've
Streaming, but I mean, I'm
been
just talking about traditional, like on a sound
traditional.
stage, on a TV show, a movie. And it's so difficult. And you have to be,
Shouldn't be.
you hold on to your vulnerability, your tender vulnerability, your soft spot. But at the same time, you've got to be tough as nails. You've got to have enough self-esteem to take all the slings and
No,
arrows.
it's worse than that. It's
Judge.
worse than that. It's so much worse than that because they're telling actors that if you don't fit into our box, which is creepy,
Yeah.
then your life has no value. If you have a body like, say, Melissa McCarthy, I'm surprised she made it in Hollywood
Well,
because there are all these creepy guys, dirty old men, quite frankly, in Hollywood that belong in a 6-foot prison cell, not in a mega mansion.
yeah.
They're criminals, they're
And
psychopaths, and they're terrorizing
I,
the neighborhood and they're hurting actors.
yeah, I was just going to say, I think the people who survive this are the people who have a very strong self-worth, sense of self. If somebody says, "Oh no, you're not worthy, you don't fit in," the actors I've known who are successful are the ones who say, "I don't know if I what can I say anything? Can I say the F word? Fuck
Sure.
that, fuck that." I know my worth, and I'm not. You don't know me. You don't know me, and my time will come.
Yes, but why should you have
So,
to deal with some psychopath with strange ideas about children
oh
paying
no,
off the LAPD to cover crimes against children and everything else that's been blown
Well,
up, and
can I say
hiring Russian bots to terrorize
yeah,
women. I mean, come on, it's gotten beyond horrific.
about Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
I want to protect my friend's privacy, but I have an actress friend who narrowly escaped being assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. And she confided it to me several years ago, long before any of the scandal broke out publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had known about it for quite a while through my friend. And then when the scandal broke out, people like Meryl Streep and Affleck were like, oh, I had no idea this was going on. And I thought, that's a crock of shit, because I knew about it like 10 years before. And these people, these big stars, are claiming they didn't know. Of course they knew.
So maybe the way to become famous is not to be strong, but to be an accomplice and somebody who is aiding and abetting in propping up these monsters. And that's not a contract I'm willing to sign. So I'm
Right.
completely okay and happy being the producer of a show
Yeah.
on YouTube if it affords me control over that show and I don't have to deal with perverts telling me I
You
have to keep my mouth shut. And I'm pretty disgusted by the union, the Screen Actors Guild. I mean, why are they a union or not?
Still
Why
trying
you're trying to figure that one out? Well, I'm
yeah,
gone.
still trying to figure that one
I
out.
gave up my union membership. Couldn't
I
afford the dues anyway.
still have mine. I still have my membership, but it's mostly just something I keep. I keep it out of hope that one day I will get an acting job, something will happen, and I'll be ready and prepared, having that SAG card. But as we have discussed, it's getting to where you don't need it so much anymore. I know a lot of people are doing what we're doing here on the internet, and that's where we seem to be evolving toward.
Yeah, the union really, I mean, there's really, what would be the point? I mean, like, there's films being produced, they're going straight onto YouTube. YouTube's making its own films. I mean, it's like,
right.
Be what we want. I think what actors, producer, if you're talking about democratic socialism in the arts, we want what we've always wanted as democratic socialists in the arts. We want a safe playground where actors and lighting people and makeup can come and play and not worry that there's creeps, perverts on the playing ground, making it so that people can't come and have fun.
That's
and I hope that I create that environment on my channel so that actors can feel that they can come here and have fun.
You have always done that. You've always done that with me. When you were training me to be your naturopathic doctor's assistant,
right?
One of the most loving teachers I've ever had in my life. And the way you related to me, because I'm an artist, I'm a visual person, I'm much more right brain than left brain, but you helped me to develop that other hemisphere of the brain and gave me the confidence to do so, because you approached medicine, physiology, biology as an art. That's how you approach it with me, as an art form, as something spiritual, poetic, like a beautiful symphony of music. And I was just telling this to my sister a week ago. I was telling her about you, praising you.
Oh, thank you.
Because we were talking about how artistic people often are not taught properly. They're taught by people who don't understand the way they see the world. You understood that in me. And that's how you approached it. You approached it to me as the artist, and I grasped it and I had fun with it.
Yeah, you did really well.
Something that scared the death out of me, you made it fun, and you reassured me. I remember you said to me, honey, we're all scared. I was scared shitless too when I was in medical school. You were always honest with me. And you said, it takes at least 4 times to get this. Remember you told me that?
Yeah,
the first time you have to just read it, it's gonna not make sense. It's gonna be confusing. The second time you read it, it'll get a little better. The third time, but you said usually by the 4th time. You said by the 4th time, and you own it, and then you can run with it. And
it helps to know that. Yeah.
I had so much fun learning with you. And
kidding.
you even said that to me. You said learning is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. And
I
acting
wish
is supposed to be fun.
exactly. That's what Dee Wallace always said to us. There was a time when I was taking it too seriously, much too seriously. And she said, Chuck, it's not the cure for cancer. It's not brain surgery. She said, get in the sandbox and just play. Have fun. You know, loosen up. And I think
Get
that's
in the
basically
sand, pluck and play. You should not have to be like beating off Harvey Weinstein
God.
in the process,
Oh,
right? Or worried that your children who want to go into the sand, you know. So it's what can Hollywood do now to save Hollywood? What does Hollywood, because Hollywood watches, believe it or not, I don't know why, but they watch this channel. No, I'm just kidding. No, we do have producers and stuff. That what do you need to tell them? How
the
can they
bottom
save
line,
Hollywood?
well, the bottom line, a single word: integrity. Integrity, truth. Treat people as you would want to be treated yourself.
Don't lie.
Don't hoard everything to yourself when there are people who can barely put food on their tables and feed their families. There are people who can't pay their rent. Nobody can live on a 12-cent residual check. You know, and I know people who are getting residual checks like that. Do you remember the show Rhoda back in the 70s?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I knew David Grove, who
I
played
love David.
Joe. Oh, wonderful man. I loved him. Well, one day he came to me. I don't know if you know this, but that episode where Rhoda got married was, for many years, the single highest rated episode in television history. It was huge. He came in with his residual check for that episode, 37 cents. And he said, that was the biggest show in history. 37 cents is what I got for that. So this is what's going on now. This is why actors and writers have to fight. They have to fight. There needs to be a balance in here. You know, the producers are hoarding this. From what I understand, the producers are not even negotiating with the actors right now. You know, they've got plenty of money. They got shows in the can. And I think they're just figuring if they wait it out, the writers and the actors are going to get desperate.
Well, isn't that how the game was always played? You actors, I can, on your knees, you're going to do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it, because you want this so bad that I can take my pleasure however I like, because I'm an executive producer. I'm a Harvey Weinstein. I'm Woody Allen.
Well, you know,
take your pick. They're all horrible.
I feel a lot of people who come out here, they base a lot of their self-worth and self-esteem on making it in the industry. And that's not such a healthy thing either. I've been there myself. When I first came out here, I came out with stars in my eyes and all this naivete, and I would do whatever it took to make it in the industry. And maybe there are people who are willing, I hate to say it, willing to compromise that part of themselves. And that's why.
But a producer should not put an actor in a position.
Should not be taking advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what
I have no problem. I have no problem telling a young actor, you're going to have to bust your ass and work hard because to be worthy of getting this. I have no problem with that. I think competition is healthy. What I have a problem with is people committing crimes, raping and terrorizing people, or threatening people, or hiring Adam Waldman, Putin's propaganda guy, to spread rumors that you're a crazy witch just because you went to the police.
Yeah, that is never acceptable under any circumstances. And that is what has to be balanced out. And I believe it will be. It will be, but it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of people standing up for themselves and standing up for what they know to be right and what's in their hearts. Standing up for truth, standing up for integrity. People saying, I'm not going to be treated this way anymore. I won't accept this. And that's going to be good for everybody's growth, in my opinion. Yeah, everybody is going to evolve in their own ways and discover things about themselves. Sometimes we have to discover fortitude within ourselves that we didn't even know we had. I'm always going through that. I think we go through that to the day we die. We're always evolving. We're growing. It's like an upward spiral.
What do you think has to happen with the mega mansions and the executive producers having 17 square feet so that they can rub it in the faces of the people who can't afford a slice of bread? What do you, how do we fix that?
Oh,
Do we
that's
just
a,
shame them? Do we just look at them and say, God, are you a pig? Do we just keep
well,
pointing to the Steven Spielbergs and all the others in their mega mansions and just look at them and say, you're a selfish, greedy pig?
well, I think there's nothing wrong with having abundance, having success. If you've earned a mansion, that's your right to, if you have the money, you've sincerely earned it, that's your right to do with whatever you want. But it should
But is
never
it his
be
money?
at the
But the
expense.
problem, but I don't think it's his money. See, that's the problem. It's
Yeah,
not his money. There were a lot of people that made ET, like your
yeah.
acting coach.
Lee Wallace, yeah.
It
Uh,
took a village. So why does he got all the money,
well,
honey?
what I was trying to say. I just wanted to preface it with there's nothing wrong with abundance, but when it's unfairly earned, as you have pointed out, it's been at the expense of many other people who deserve their share. No, that's not right. That's not right. I'm thinking about what Jamie Lee Curtis said in her Oscar acceptance speech. Did you see that? When
Yes, we
she
won an Oscar.
she said we won an Oscar. She was talking about the many, many people it takes to make a career in Hollywood, to make a movie, to make anything. And she kept emphasizing over and over, we won an Oscar. I thought that was a beautiful speech she gave.
She's a great lady.
Yes, she is.
I mean, she's one of them that has a reputation. She says it like she is what she's a great lady.
Someone who has manifested a lot of great things in her life. I mean, the woman is 64 years old at an age we're told, a woman's career is over. And of course, we know that's nonsense. Look at, Meryl Streep, Judi Dench, so forth, so forth. But here's Jamie Lee Curtis at the peak of her career. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And she fulfilled something that her mother and father never got to do because they were both nominated for Oscars. So I think we were all, at least me, I was sitting there just, in my heart watching her talk. And I love that she was really savoring it and really loving that moment for everything it was worth. She was in her joy, which is where I think we all need to be. We need to be in our joy. We need to be in that place to create. And she's a wonderful example for all of us.
Wow. So I want to talk a little bit about gossip because I know that you are in the middle of the pit. I didn't expect this to become so intense, but
I didn't either.
Well, LA is on fire right now with protest. And this is what I talked about 5 years ago. I said, when I go into the meditations and when I follow the trajectory of the energy and I see what's happening over on YouTube, which is the largest media producer, they're the ones that are, it's happening over at YouTube. It's happening at TikTok. It's happening at Instagram. It's not happening in Hollywood anymore. People are like, people are being misused and they're like, screw this crap. I'm going over to YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I might add also that a lot of production is no longer here because it's cheaper to go to, say, Toronto or Vancouver or go to Atlanta, Georgia, Louisiana. There's a film studio in Michigan.
Yes.
Where it's going now.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Great films coming out of the Pacific Northwest, folks. Don't discount Seattle and Portland.
I heard North Carolina. I mean, places not expected.
Atlanta.
Yeah. And also, we got people now who can literally make a movie on their iPhone. They can make a feature-length movie on their iPhone, and they can edit it, and they can score it, and put it together. Everybody can be a producer.
And hire their own social media people to pump it up.
Yes, that's right. That's
so,
right.
I mean, that Mr. Beast, I forget who tried to buy Mr. Beast, some network, and they offered him $1 billion, Mr. Beast, and he said no. And then they assessed the worth. It's worth $10 billion, Mr. Beast. And he did it all on YouTube. So I think he started with like no budget. And it started off as just helping people like, which would you rather have, an iPhone, this, or, well, of course, here, it's yours. And it started off like that. And then people started watching this crazy guy giving stuff away. And then that pumped up more people giving money to advertise, etc. Now that, so it's like, why would I go to Hollywood? So it's unfortunate though, because there's so much great stuff that came out of Hollywood. And You and I grew up in love with Hollywood, man. We grew
Yes.
it was
Oh
it
my
was the
God.
we escaped our unhappy childhoods through
That's
Hollywood, didn't we?
exactly right.
Can you
That's
talk a little bit about
good.
what Hollywood did for you, just in terms of the films and
Well, I
everything?
mean, are you talking about
As a
the
kid,
love of it as a kid?
yes,
Okay,
yes. Can
good.
you
I can
talk
talk to
about
that.
that?
I was a very bullied, misunderstood child. My mother, God bless her, was an emotionally unstable woman. To cut to the chase, it was a difficult childhood, and I didn't have many friends. So my escape from early on was the wonderful old movies on television. Um, I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett. Some many are critical of children watching too much television, but for me, it was my savior. It was like literally my window to the world. And these people became like friends to me. And when I became about 12, 13 years old, I started buying biographies, autobiographies, books about old Hollywood. I just took it up like a sponge. And it was the greatest escapism for me. But it was an escapism that I think kept me alive and kept me going until I could grow up and get out into the world and get away from my community. It
Wow.
served a lovely purpose. So I think that was always planted in me to come to Hollywood. From the time I was like 5 years old, I'd watch Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas and sometimes Johnny Carson and things. I would see all these things set in Los Angeles, set in Hollywood. So I think I had a fantasy idea of Hollywood being this place where you achieve all your dreams. So that was so ingrained in me that by the time I was in my mid 20s, there was no question this was where I was going to move from back. And I have loved it here, but there's been a lot of disappointments, but there's been a lot of good also. And it's where I've belonged, but I've also had to get a far more realistic, objective view of the city.
Well, you win for your friends. I mean, as bad as the industry is, the truth is my best friends, many of them are in LA. I mean, we made some great friends. You got
Hi,
to admit.
you and me.
You and me,
We,
kid, till the
we met
very
in
end,
LA.
right? But also I've met some of your other friends. I mean, we have great friends in LA. We
Yes,
were very lucky.
it's a bad stereotype about LA about how everybody is distant, everybody is self-absorbed, everybody's an asshole. No, no, I have some of the most beautiful, genuine people in my life, and they
Love
are all.
actors. I'm very protective of them.
Well, I have a lot of artist friends. I'm not just
Yeah,
actors,
artists. Yeah.
artists, writers, musicians. I love creative people. I love discussing the creative process. I love the similarities in our talents. It's like a golden thread that goes through all of us, how we all channel in similar ways, but we're each like an instrument. For me, it's like my artwork. That's how it comes out of me. Another person, it's his piano. Another person, it's her laptop and her writing. But we all
So
create.
beautiful. Yeah. Now, these paintings are the paintings that you've done. You are a trained
Well,
artist.
these are a few of them. Yes, I was an art major at Virginia Commonwealth University.
Wow. I was curious because I haven't seen this one before. I've seen the others. Can you
This one right.
talk about, yeah, what is that? What is
Okay,
that?
there is a story behind this. You've
Yeah.
seen those photoshopped posters of James Dean and Marilyn Monroe where they're embracing, or Marilyn's on the back of his motorbike. Well, anyway, I wanted to do a painting that showed the truth. Sorry, my cat is
Oh, hi,
here.
Sasha.
Shelley Winters, who was Marilyn Monroe's roommate in the early 50s. I'm sorry. Should I keep holding it up or put it down or put it back?
Oh, yeah, you can put it back up if you like.
Okay.
Or, I mean,
Yes, so
whatever
that way
my
I can
audience
talk.
wants. I think that's
was
beautiful.
looking at the little monitor here and I couldn't get it positioned. But, well, here, how about I
Stage
do that?
left. Yeah,
Okay.
stage.
Okay. Anyway, I thought it'd be interesting to do a painting showing the truth. Shelley Winters wrote in her autobiography, this was apparently the only time James Dean and Marilyn Monroe ever met face to face. And according to Shelley, it was instant hate, instant dislike. She said they behaved, it was at the Chateau Marmont at a little party for Nicholas Ray, who was the director of Rebel Without a Cause. She said the whole evening They were sulking. They were turned away from each other. They were acting like resentful siblings. And I thought it would be interesting to do a painting that showed the real story rather than all of those Photoshop posters and fantasies.
I love
I
the
did it with
picture.
affection because I love them both.
Right. I love that picture of her where it's as if she's trying to cancel him out. She finds him so unpleasant.
That's what Shelley said. She said they were both turned away, their face in their hands. She said they were like going out of their way to avoid each other. Like they were kind of repulsed, but at the same time, because I've told this story to others, and some have said maybe they were both used to being the center of attention in the room, being the one person, and they had to share the spotlight. Maybe they didn't care for that. I don't know. I can only theorize.
Was he misogynist? Would he have talked to her with disrespect, do you think? Or
okay, it's not impossible. No, the reason I say that, I know we don't have a lot of time. I spent time in Fairmount, Indiana, his hometown, and I spent time with his first cousin, Marcus, who was raised in the same house as Jimmy. They were raised together as brothers, even though they were first cousins. I also met a man who was a friend of James Dean, and they told me he loved to shock people. He liked to get reactions from people. And so he was very irreverent. He couldn't help himself. He would purposely say something so vulgar, so out there, just because he wanted to get a reaction. He wanted
that's how I feel when I look at this picture. Well, I feel like he's being this incredibly disrespectful, sexist, whatever, and she completely tuned him out.
It's not impossible. He did that. I can't speak for them not being there, but that would have been in character with him. One of the friends in Fairmount told me when he was in high school, you know, being the gifted actor he was, he could cry on cue. He could actually make tears form, and he would do this to fuck around with people. He would, you know, just suddenly start crying and getting people upset. Want to see if we're going to respond to him. So I'm wondering if
that's evil.
I know it is, but I'm wondering if he did a little of that with Marilyn. It's hard to say.
Wow. Well, it was so fun hanging out with you.
Oh yes, Whimsy. I love hanging out with you.
Yes. Well, yes, we will make it a weekly event, actually.
Oh,
you're going to be, if you say yes, I would love to have you co-host with me once a week. Okay, great.
I would love that very much. Thank you.
So we got to get you used to being going live though, because it's going to be like,
yeah, it's a little scary.
All right. I'll
get over it.
It's just like live theater. Thank you so much. If people would like to purchase your art or commission you for a painting, how do they find you?
Okay, they can find me on my website, chuckdransfield.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can send me a direct message if you want. You can reach me.
I think we're just about done. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Wow.
I had a lot of fun, Whimsy. Thank you.
Yeah, we will do it again. I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recorder.